Alright, I'm clocking it at 165 pounds. This is after a 100-hour fast. I think it's 100 hours, I'll have to check later. But anyway. Alright, first meal after my 100 something hour fast. It's just soup. It doesn't look very good, but it's just broth plus seaweed plus some shrimp and some liver in there, and then also butter. I added like 50 grams of butter in there, and I hope this works to break my fast. But anyway, see you guys. Alright guys, so this is officially meal number 2. So this is a lot of food. I'm not gonna eat it all. My priority is just to eat the eggs and this meat over here. This is about 200 grams of meat plus some onions and red bell peppers, and this is 3 eggs, and that's like a whole ribeye. To be honest, I shouldn't have made that ribeye, but it was in the fridge, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna cook it and keep it, and then I'll just leave that in the. Well, I'm just gonna eat that maybe after, not today. Probably the next time I break my fast, I'll finish that off. Yeah, to be honest, this meat though is kind of it's I wouldn't say poor quality. It's just much tougher meat, so that's why I'm much more excited to eat the ribeye than this meat over here, which is supposed to be like a chuck roast. It was claimed to be a Wagyu chuck roast, but it was still my unofficially. If you're buying Wagyu and it's not like very much visibly marbled, then it's not worth the price. Don't buy it. You might as well just get yourself a regular chuck roast, because that's just really tough. And I suppose I should have cooked it the way I would usually cook a chuck roast, but I was hoping that since it was Wagyu, it's going to be it wouldn't require that much cooking, but apparently it needed. I learned my lesson. So I have a whole bunch of like useless Wagyu chuck roasts that I'm going to have to figure out a way to I'm going to have to figure out a way to actually I know how to cook chuck roast. It's you do it's like slow. It's low and slow in the oven. But for some reason these days I'm kind of disliking well cooked meat. And I was hoping that I could have like, for example, this ribeye here. You see how red that is? So I'm kind of preferring my meat these days more on the rare side, and I was hoping that I would be able to cook this chuck roast to be more on the rare side. So kind of like if you cut it into a steak, just like cook it in the oven briefly until it's like 100 degrees inside, and then it's like a reverse sear method. 100 degrees inside, and then you pull it out of the oven, and then you pan sear both sides to get the outside brown. But that doesn't work for this kind. That doesn't work for this kind of meat. I tried that. It was really nice and red and beautiful, but it was tough. It was tough and almost inedible. So the only way I really can eat it now is just to like cut it into small pieces, because it's tough, and that's the only way it's really edible for me. I learned my lesson. I'll do another video when I finally get the for that reason I bought like a Jackad tenderizer, so I'll do a video when that comes from the mail, and I'm gonna try that method with the Jackad tenderizer on the chuck roast so that I can still eat meat, so I can still eat it on the rare side, rather than having to do the low and slow method, which is still pretty good. But now I'm not in the mood for, I don't know, my body these days is not in the mood for overcooked meat. So, but anyway, but I have to finish that up because that's the last of it. So the priority is to finish the meat and the eggs, and then I'll call it a night. And then whatever is left of that, whatever slices, I'll probably eat a couple slices of that, and then I'll put that in the fridge and put that away until the next time I break my fast. Yeah, it's kind of like to be honest, I'm kind of already full, kind of pretty full, which is to be expected once you come off 100, how many hours did I spend on this fast? Let's actually check this. Excuse me here. Some it's not very Hey, just trying to figure this out. Back here again. I haven't eaten my dinner yet. But I wonder how many hours did I actually spend on this fast. I have this life fasting app here. Some people use life fasting, some people use Zero, but I downloaded life fasting first and I kind of got used to that. I also have Zero, but for some reason I prefer life fasting. Let's see. For some reason I prefer life fasting. Okay. Here. Let's see. Yeah. So this was from Sunday till Thursday afternoon. I broke it at around 4 p.m. And it was around on second thought, maybe I don't like this app. It's really hard to access the fast stuff you've done already. But anyway, it was around like 112 hours fasted. Maybe next time I'm gonna use a Zero app, because once you've done it fast, you really can't, it's hard to access what you've done. Anyway, yeah, so okay, so to be honest, when I started it, I thought I was just going to do one day and sort of do every other day fasting. I have done every other day fasting before, and in my experience, it keeps the weight down, but in my experience, it's very, I've struggled with it. It's very yeah, I struggle with it because of this. People say that they find the fast easier as it goes along, but I never found the fast easier. I always found the fast quite hard. As in, like, I'm like every other day. I'm maybe because I was eating too much. But even in times when I actually try to keep it low carb, as you've seen this today, that most of the food here is kind of low carb. I actually had maybe like, you know, a little score of chocolate, but maybe because I've tried to keep it, even when I keep it low carb, the second day was quite tough. And so I've kind of shied away from every other day fasting, because it's kind of like you eat and the next day you're like, you can't do it. It's just, you just, you know, not so much grouchy, but just hunger, you know, just your stomach grumbling and weak, and you don't really feel energized. And it was also hard because at the time when I actually working in the office, right now I work from home, but like in the time when I worked from the office, I couldn't do much work in the office because I was just so distracted by the fact I was hungry. And this was like, you know, every other day. I would try to do it 3 times a week, every other, and 9 times in the office, I was not productive at all. Now, so, but I thought that, you know what, since this is quarantine and I'm working from home, so I was just going to suffer through it and just do it. And just do it because I do need to keep the weight down. Well, actually, in quarantine, I've actually maybe have not gained weight because I was not eating very much. I'll talk about the diet a little later, but the short answer is I've kept my diet low carb and mostly animal based, and that has helped a lot in making sure that I don't snack, or making sure I don't boredom eat, because it's like I tell people, it's really hard to stress eat on a steak. If all you have is a steak, you can't go every 2 hours to eat on a steak. At least personally for me, that's what I find. So because of that, during this quarantine, keeping it much animal based, where it's just eggs and steak, and then I would have some avocado and some sardines. And then fruit. I probably have one piece of fruit a day, one piece of food when I do have it, and just keeping it that way. I've found that has really dampened my appetite. But I wasn't losing weight per se. I wasn't gaining weight. My weight was stable. But I thought that, you know what, this is quarantine. I should try and use this time where I don't have to show up in the office, and just that if I was going to have a crappy dieting experience, I should have it now when I'm home. I'm at home all the time, versus when I have to go into the office and deal with the fact that I'm hungry and tired and irritable at the office. So I decided to, like, you know what, I should just go into a fast. I was going to do an alternate day, and if it's going to suck, I'm just going to suffer through it. But so I started on Sunday. And then I went through it and I was like, you know what? I should just. When I did the first day sucked. I was weak and I was tired. Everyone claims that, you know what, things I've seen on people talking about how fasting they feel wonderful and it's easy. My experience, it's not easy. That's my own. That's what. But in my experience, that is the one way I know how to keep the weight down. For some reason, I don't know if I'm having I'm not sure if I have a little bit of insulin resistance, and that's probably what it is. But I do need to be aggressive about about losing weight, and it's not something in which if I just switch to I have to actually be aggressive about losing weight. So Sunday I was like this, yeah, it sucked, but whatever it was. But then I decided that I should just keep going, and then Monday I was like, and then Tuesday I felt quite a bit better. Monday sucked as well. Tuesday I felt much better. And I think that's pretty much it's because like the first 2 days you're sort of switching away from burning through your glycogen stores. And then on Tuesday, really, that was when I felt so much better. It's just an issue of like ketosis. You finally enter ketosis, and when you enter ketosis, the feeling is so much better. I don't know how to describe it. I wouldn't say you're high. No, it's not comparable to being high, but you're just. It was like I was normal again. Like I'd eaten. That's what it felt like. It felt like I had eaten. And so when it felt that great on Tuesday, I decided that, you know what, this is that I should just probably extend this, just try and extend this good feeling as much as I can until you can't no more. And so I went Wednesday, and then Thursday I decided I was just going to break it, just so that because even though I felt better and I felt okay, there's still issues of like intermittent, like there are hunger pangs that come in waves, and there are times when you feel weak that comes like every so often, and you have to sort of it's not like you're feeling great all the time. You're feeling great, and then every so often you have to deal with the fact that you're weak and that you're actually you haven't eaten for 4 days. So and I decided that, you know what, I was just gonna break it today, eat, and then start again tomorrow. That's the plan. I don't know if I'm gonna do that, but I think that's the plan. I'll start again tomorrow, and then do another 4 to 5 day fast, and then start again and then do it. So the plan is to do 5-day fasts rolling continuously for the month of May, and then June I'll probably take off it. They'll go off. June I'll go off it just so that I can recuperate, and then after maybe after June I can figure out where I stay and figure out where I want to go. So and there's the thing though, so the way you're doing alternate day fasting, you think that you never quite enter the ketosis mode. Well, you can, depending on how much activity you're doing and how much glycogen stores you have to work through, and that also very much depends on how much carbs and protein you've eaten on your eating day. So if you eat a lot of carbs, then you sort of have to eat through the glycogen stores before you can actually get into ketosis, and that can suck. For me, it sucks. But and some people claim that, you know, it's maybe eating low carb, doing ketosis, being on a keto diet should make that first day experience easier. But in my experience, it hasn't been that much easier. So the advantage is that when you're doing longer fasts, you sort of like that ramp period, that's like sort of like in between period of 1 or 2 days. You don't have to keep doing it every other day. You only have to do it once. Like probably you only have to do it once per week, ideally, or twice per week versus 3 to 4 times a week. So you only have to do it once, ideally, per week, and once you do that, once you pay that price, then you have easy going for the next few days, and you don't have to do it. And hopefully this becomes easier. And then also another thing to note is that like in between those first 2-3 days, first 2 days when you enter a fast, that is the most catabolic state of the fasting of the fasting period. Like if you look at the curves, like if you look at those fasting curves, that actually shows how how the glycogen decreases and how ketosis increases and how much protein how much protein that your body is consuming. If you look at those curves, it ramps up for the first, it actually ramps up the first 2 days, and then it decreases once you enter ketosis, it drops off. So like if you're always having to like do that every other day, you're always in that catabolic state, really. And it feels like you're doing all this much work and not getting as much benefit compared to a longer fast where, yeah, you pay that price you will pay that price once per week, depending on how long your fasting window is, and then you go smooth sailing into ketosis, and you do that as long as you can. So the point is that you want to try and be in that ketotic state of the fasting mode as long as you can do it, and then you break it, and then you go again. So in general, I don't care to do like long 14-day, 30-day fasts and things like that. To me, it's like, fasting is boring. Quite honestly, I don't have increases in productivity. For me, I just find fasting annoying. So to me, it's like, so to the extent that I can get back to eating food again, that makes me excited. So right now it's like I've just made a compromise. I'm going to try and do rolling 5-day fasts, break it, and then just do it for the month of May. And then also another thing that's kind of a little bit concerned about is the muscle mass loss and how your body would look like. And I'm a little bit concerned that, once you're fasting, it's kind of hard to work out. You can work out, but not as much. What you're trying to do is just to maintain as much without taxing yourself too much. And so I would prefer not to go do more than 30 days of this. Just maybe do 30 days, hopefully lose 10-15 pounds. Right now, as you saw in the clip, I'm sitting around 165. So if I can get down to 150, and then at 150, just probably try to lose weight normally through exercise, through weight training, and just more calorie restriction and low carb. Well, not low, well, we're more like more carnivore-ish, eat more meat and just weight train the fuck and just try to build muscle mass. So like if you can lose it that normal way, that's much preferable, because I care about the muscle mass, really. And based on what the scale is telling me, like all this mass, it looks like if I believe it, I'm not the scale is sort of finicky, but I'm not sure how much I believe it. I'd have to take a DEXA scan to make sure to figure it out. But yeah, if I could because it looks like I'm losing quite a bit of muscle mass, a little bit, so that concerns me. So I really prefer to keep this fasting to a minimum. Decide maybe I want to lose 10-15, maybe decide to lose 15-20 pounds. Just do it. You pay a price, but once you pay, but after that, then you just sort of kind of, once the gyms open up again, I can start just really go hard on weight training and just try and lose the last bit of. So I'm 5'6". I would like to get down to 130. So it's a long journey. So right now, and I started my weight loss journey has been it started around 185, and then I went carnivore. That carnivore bit allowed me to lose like 6 pounds. It allowed me to drop down to 180, and then from 180 to like 171 or so, I sort of did a rolling like 4-3 fast, where I fast for like 3 days, eat, and then 2 days, eat. So pretty much it was like eat twice a week. That was what I was doing, eating twice a week. And I liked that, but then the COVID-19 hit, and then I was a little bit concerned about fasting when there's a pandemic. And I'm still concerned about this now, but I guess right now I decided I'm going to take the chance, and it just means I'm not going to be going out very much. Before, I used to go out like maybe once a week. I'm probably just going to try and cut it down to like once every 2 weeks to go out. And I have food in the house, so I have a freezer full of meat, so I'm good. And I have a whole bunch of eggs, so I'm good. And butter. As long as I have eggs, butter, and meat, I'm good. So the pandemic hit was like I said that okay, I'm just gonna stop fasting. And then there was a month of me just eating meat, and that was helpful for like just keeping my weight around 170, 171. That's pretty helpful. And then so I didn't gain. That's like a month of not gaining. And now I said that like, you know what, this being in a lockdown is the one I need to get back. It's the lockdown is a time that I have to get this done. So I was like, okay, time to get back into it. But anyway, that's it. So this is I guess volume 1 of keeping a 100-hour fast. Bye.